to another day of hand reading. What a lovely day it is, as you can see right there on the screen. We're looking at day 50 of 66. We hit a milestone, 50. Was that the gold anniversary? I think so. So we've hit gold, hit 50 out of 66 days. We're on our way. Today we're going to look at what we've been doing, showdown hands on the Merge network, or Carbon. And what I want to look at today is some different river betting times. And we're doing both ranges, by the way. But I want to look at hands where I bet the river. And I want to see if I made a good value bet or possibly a good bluff. Whatever it ends up being, you know. So I already have it sorted by river action. And we're going to look at the button. So we're in position on these rivers here. All checks, raises. Look at those, some raises, but I don't want to look at those. I'm going to look at bets. All these calls, it goes alphabetical. Bet, call. Now we've got all this stuff here. We see we already looked at that hand before. Let's see. So river bets here. Raise, bet. So I'm betting the whole way. Raise, betting the whole way. Betting, raise again. Betting the whole way. Let's do this one because I get two streets of just good, raising aggression where I'm putting in additional money. And then on these streets, obviously he checked me, so I'm just betting. So I'm aggressive on every single street in this hand right here. Let's take a look at it. Oh, and of course, we got to whip out the template, the split suit template, which you can get at splitsuit.com/templates. And we have our two different windows of Flopzilla goodness. And because we're doing range v range, we have to look at we have to use hold EQ to compare the two ranges right here. So first off, we want to record some hand details. 874, 51, 372. Great. On button. Let's see what the action is. What do we got? A 5-way pot here. Full stack, or double stack, and a full stack. Good. So we have 100 big blinds effective at this table. We raise, we get just one caller. This is perfect. Now, it's kind of a bummer. He has over a full stack, but I only have 4 hands on the guy. So it might be tough to give him... it's going to be tough to get narrow with our pre-flop range. We can go wide right now, and then as the streets progress, narrow it down quite a bit. We're going to have to start off pretty wide, and for myself as well, pretty darn wide, because it's just it's a button steal. Could be anything. No, not anything, but we'll take a look in a second as to what it could be. Oh, here, real quick. So button, open 3x, SB calls. And he is an unknown player. To us, he's unknown. To the rest of the world, that could be Phil Ivey for all we know. Doubtful at 25 NL. So what do we got here? Skip the calling range. We are on 2 betting ranges. We're going to look at calling ranges for him. So first off, opening range, 45%. What am I really realistically opening? It's somewhere closer to 30, between 30 and 35%. But we'll start at 45 and kind of pare it down. What am I most likely not raising here? King 9 offsuit, I can occasionally range. Let's take a look. Oh, I gotta put this window so I can easily re-click on it again. There we go. Good. So, as far as stats go, Shadow X, I don't know anything about him. I guess I've only been at the table for a little while. Maybe he... I don't know why stats haven't popped up here. But, let's make sure the stats. Yeah, this is Frankie 234. Frankie, Xander. Yeah, Shadow, his stats aren't popping up, so I would assume... I've been at this table only 5 hands. Maybe he was sitting out and just came back in right now with over 100 big blind stack. So I don't know anything about him. This could be a standard. This is a steal versus 2 unknown players. So I might be going a little bit wide just to get a feel for how they react to steals. I'm often folding these versus unknowns. A lot of players will be open them. Like if we open up all the queens, it takes us to closer to 39%. But I'm going to drop it down. I often stick with queen 8, jack 8, and then 10-7 as my suited double gap. Of course, every single pair is opening. All the broadways with a couple of extra offsuits and every ace. I'm good with this range for us right here. Or for a hero, I mean to say. We can see it's a 37% range and 490 combos. Now their pre-flop range, what is this foo calling with? Let's start it with a 50% range. So we're an unknown to him. We don't know anything about him so far. Sure, 50-0 looks loose passive, but out of 4 hands, you can't really tell anything from that. So let's think about him as our standard small blind caller right now. So we want to go to something closer to like 22%. It's very possible as an unknown, he's calling every ace, actually. Could be calling right here. Queens, I just want to give him kind of a default 3-betting range. If I knew that he was loose aggressive, I could easily remove hands like this from the from his calling range here. But I really just don't know. So I've got to go on the more conservative side and then say that he is a bit more conservative with his 3-bets. We'll give him the ace king. Ace queen offsuit could just be a call here quite often depending on the player. So we'll stick with that. 7-5 sounds good. 6-5. I like all the offsuit broadways. Now the suited kings. I'm often seeing players calling with suited kings. Although that does feel rather loose. 29% feels pretty good from a small blind. From an unknown small blind. I just don't know enough about the guy. So if he's calling 7-5, he's calling everything better. 6-5, everything better. Now the worst suited double gapper is probably Jack 8. It could be Queen 9, but I'll keep Jack 8 in. If Jack 8's in, Queen 8, King 8, Ace 8, and all those other aces are calling too. So we're going to give him a 29%, 388 combos. Just don't know enough about the guy to say that he is... Whoops. Ah, gosh darn, I don't remember. 29, 388. Cool. So if these are the ranges that we're currently looking at, our opening, his calling range, currently we have 50% equity. So it's a basic chop right now. He has, as you can see, we have queens or better and the ace kings in our range for opening. So you think, oh, maybe we're way ahead. No, we're not way ahead because he has a lot less of those offsuit hands. He has all the pocket pairs other than queens, and he's got all the aces, and then he doesn't go as far down as all the king deuce suited. So a lot of his kings beat a lot of my kings that I'm opening with. Yeah, so it's just a 50-50 chop at this point, but the flop can bring some crazy action. Let's see. 10-6-9 club diamond. So on the 10-6-9 board, you can see our equity jumped up a tiny bit to 51% equity, which just is not a lot. But the good thing is that we do have position. 10 of clubs, 9 of Ds, 6 of Cs, 51 to 49. So not a bad start right now. Calling ranges do hit boards like this pretty well. So let's take a look at his calling range. He quote unquote hit the board with top pair or better. Open-ender or better, and these combo draws, he hits it 39% of the time. Our range hits it top pairs, open-ender, those combos 41% of the time. So our two ranges hit it just about even right now. If we did not have those in our range, you could see we hit 39% and he hits 39 slightly better than us. But we have these over pairs, which gives us a few more top pair or better hands, you know. So on this flop, we're looking at 51% equity. He checks. Oh, he bets to us. Wow. Oh, that's right. We raise here. I forgot. We raise, and then bet on the turn in river. So look at that tiny bet. That really does feel like a blocking bet, like he wants to see the next card, or he'd be happy if we fold. But with such a tiny bet, I kind of doubt he flopped a set of 10s, 9s, or 6s. It's possible, but I kind of doubt it with that tiny bet. And we raise, and we make a smallish raise that feels like I'm not super confident in my hand either. And he just calls. So he's not confident with his bet call. I am not confident with my raise. So let's look at his range first. What is betting and then just calling? And remember, betting so small, only 2 big blinds, and then just calling a small raise. And remember, we have full stacks behind. We started with 100 big blinds here. So if he has done nuts like 7-8 or even, I don't know, or even like an open-ender plus a flush draw. I mean, if he has a really good hand, he would bet more and then probably raise over our raise as well. So he's not too confident. He doesn't have straights. I doubt he has any sets in his range right now. I mean, it's possible, but we're going to keep those puppies out. 2 pair time, 10-9. I think 10-9 would either just check raise, or they would bet more and then call a bigger bet. I think going for value. So I am going to take the 2 pair out. Over pairs, yeah, jacks are possible because we do have the aces, kings, and queens. We also have the ace king that he doesn't know how to approach with his weakish overpair. So I wouldn't be making this weak bet and then call. I would rather check raise with jacks or just check call with pocket jacks myself. But who knows what he's up to? I think in a weakish overpair could check call right here, especially if he didn't have the jack of clubs. If he had like jack diamond and spades, something like that didn't even hit a backdoor draw. He could make that play with it. Top pairs, all these random 10s. 10-8 hit a gut shot. I think all of these could be making a small bet and then a call. Not too confident, not wanting to play a bigger pot because I do have aces, kings, and queens in my range. It's possible. At least one street, I'm going to give him the top pairs here. Mid pairs, totally. Weak pairs, all those random 6s. Well, I don't think so. Not betting and then calling. Maybe donk leading and then folding. So we won't put those in. Ace highs, we won't put those in for betting and then calling to my continued aggression. But some of these hands, as you can see, they will be here for flush draws and open-ended. So we'll take a look at that. Flush draws, totally. Betting and then calling. They're all kind of like blocking bets / weak bluffs / I want to see the next card, so I'm going to call after I bet. Those are all in. Open-ender. Queen 8. Yeah, queen 8's open-ended because a jack or a 7. It's like a double gutter, so they have 8 outs basically. The jack 8 as well, open-ended. Queen jack and queen jack. Yep, I like all of those for betting and then calling. We don't know enough about the guy that he's getting super aggressive with his flush draws and open-enders. It's not like he's always betting and then 3 betting. Betting and calling is possible with these. Gut shots now. Look at all those gut shots. All the random 8s and 7s. Well, sure, why not? If he thinks he can bet with a gut shot to blow me off, he might bet and then call and then check fold if he misses the turn if I make a big bet. Because you got to remember, my raise is actually kind of a weak raise right there. Yeah, just $1.25, 2.5 times. At a pot that's already after his bet, it's already $2.25 in the pot. I'm betting a little bit over half pot with this one right here. So it's just he can bet and then call with a ton of gut shots, I'll say. So I do want to include this. And then we'll take a look here at these 7-5. Sure, why not? Betting and calling with a gut shot. 7-6, yep, with a pair. 8-6, yep, pair. 7s, he can turn a 7 and then have a set that beats our aces, kings, and queens. Sure. 8, same thing. 9-7, da-da-da. Ace, all this stuff. I mean, he might feel that if he hits an ace or a king, he has an overpair to the board and can have showdown value. King jack, yep, he has got 2 overcards plus a possible like a backdoor flush draw with a 9 of diamonds. All of these hands I think can be betting and then calling this weak bet. Now just straight overcards, no. He has some flush draws as overcards and open enders as overcards and gut shots. I'll keep them in there. Just straight overcards I'm not going to say are betting calling. 2 card, no, none of those either. And let's give him all of these. If we include this, yeah, those are already included up in this stuff here. Gut shot plus overcards. We included all the gut shots. It's already there. So I'm going to give him kind of a weaker range. We removed the toppest parts of his range. So we're going to say he's 59% of his pre-flop range at 204 combos. All right, so that is his bet calling range. What is our small raising range in position here? Totally. Small raise, just trying to get value out of the guy because I just don't know enough about him, but that feels like it's too small of a raise. Like I really should have made it closer to $1.75, even $2. Well, it really does feel like a super weak bet. So maybe I just want action from him, and I don't think I'm getting much action. Although, like I said before, that flop hits his range 39% of the time. I should raise it more. I am going to remove the nuts. I'm going to take the nuts out. Yeah. The sets. Donk leading. Maybe I'm hoping he re-raises. Maybe I raise small because I'm hoping for a re-raise. You know, one street I am going to keep straights in. It is possible that I'm making this play because I have the nuts right now. I want him to bet and then re-raise over me to bluff, or to bet and then call, and then I can make a bigger bet on the turn once it blanks or once it improves my hand or whatever happens. Assess the turn and then bet bigger. So it is possible one street I am betting smaller due to him being an unknown player. It's possible. I don't like it, but I can do that. Two pair, sure, I could be raising small right there. Over pairs, yep, could be raising small right there. I'm trying to kind of keep the pot low, but then charge him for any kind of draws he may have. What am I charging him, by the way? He only needs 18% equity, so he can mathematically call with all of his flush draws. No, I'm not doing that. Oh, I'm betting more. I'm rebluffing is what I'm doing. He bluffed with a tiny bet. I am rebluffing. I don't have a super strong hand. I don't even have two pair here. Screw that. I could. Do I have an overpair? No, I don't even have an overpair here. Goodness gracious. Okay, top pairs I can have for making this tiny raise. Mid pairs I can have. Weak pairs I can have those. Ace highs. I'm not going to say straight ace highs. I might have ace highs at some kind of a draw along with it. So we're not going to put those in. Flush draws, totally raising. Open enders, totally raising. I'm not super stoked about my raise. It's not like I'm going for value. I'm bluffing, but it's such a weak bluff. I don't even like it. I mean, I really think I have two overcards here. All of these are possible, but I think I have two overcards. I like bluff raising on the gut shot. All of these bluffs, I like raising more. I should have made it $2. Straight up 4 times his bet. I should have. But I feel it's an overcard. Maybe even overcards like without a draw. It can be ace king of spades, and I have a backdoor straight draw with ace king of spades, but I don't have a backdoor flush draw or just a straight up flush draw. 2 card backdoors. And a lot of those are in the overcards, so no, I'm not gonna include that exactly. Yeah, so I'm raising here 73% of the time, but I've taken out all of the strongest hands at this point. It's the top pair hands that I'm trying to charge him for his draws, but I'm just undercharging him for his draws. And it's all these drawing hands. I'm trying to bluff him off, but I'm undercharging for the bluff. I do not like this raise. The only way I like the raise is if I'm trying to slow play straights and sets and getting him to re-raise. I just don't feel that that's what I'm doing. I really don't think so. 316, 73%. Cool beans. What is the turn? Oh, before we look at the turn, we have my range set, his range set. He now, within his range, because I included overcards in mine, he actually has a little bit of a leg up on us now. He has 54% versus our wider bluff raising range. I think raising bigger would have limited some of these bluffs, and I would have had my stronger hand. So if I would have raised more, my range strength would be a lot greater. We would definitely be over 50% equity if I had ranged more or raised more. Queen of Diamonds completes some straights. Yeah, it does complete some straights. The Jack-8 open-ender. So now range versus range on the Queen of Diamonds, we're looking at 43% equity, which is not great. But as we know from first looking at this hand in the very beginning, we bet and then we bet on the turn and river. So he's going to check to us, representing just no strength at all. I think with his donk lead and then a call pre-flop, if he hit that queen with a straight, he should be betting here. So to not miss out on any value. If he had the Jack-8, if he had the King-Jack, the nut straight, he's got to be betting. Unless he just counts on us betting. 225, I like it, a little bit over half pot, so that does keep all the strong hands and still a lot of the draws in my range. And of course, he just calls. So we'll start with our range here. What am I betting half pot on the Queen of Diamonds? Straights, totally. Sets, well, don't have any anymore. 2 pair time. Yep, 2 pair. Oh, betting a little over half pot there. Over pairs, don't have any. Top pairs, I do like it. I just now hit a top pair. As you can see, King, Queen, top pair plus a gutter. Queen-8, top pair plus a gutter still. Let's see here. The Queen-Jack, top pair plus open-ended. Ace-Queen even. Top pair. I don't have a redraw to a straight, but at least I have an overcard kicker that can beat a lot of the queens that he might call right here with. So I like all the top pairs betting. Mid pair now. All these random tens. Well, I don't want to say that just the random tens are going to be betting on this card that completes a lot of my opponent's draws. That really does. Now I have a second pair hand. I'm probably better off at this point if I do have a 10 just checking behind and seeing a cheap showdown. I do have showdown value. That completes so many draws within his range that I think it's very possible if I bet here, I'm just value owning myself and giving his straights value. He could be check raising his straights and stuff, so that I can't even see the showdown with my 10. So I don't like middle pair betting here. Weak pairs don't like betting. Ace highs, I don't like double barreling. I don't know enough about this player to know that he's foldy, you know? I would rather be betting, if I'm betting the turn, in a bigger pot. I mean, that pot is a lot bigger than it needed to be. I could have just called his flop bet. I should be committing more often with semi-bluffs and with value hands, not so much weak showdown hands. Flush draws, I do like the bet here. Flop flush, turn flush, I like the bets right there. Open ender, what is that? All those random jacks. Oh, the sevens as well. They're double gutter. Oh, wait, the sevens, the king seven? How is a king? Oh, because an 8 hits that under straight right there. But an 8 gives a jack a queen high straight. So, let me see here. Am I betting the 8-6? Double barreling with just a gut shot and a pair. Pocket 8s. With that overcard right there, I don't like it. So those 8s I don't like either. The 10-8, pair plus a gut shot or an open ender still. No, not so happy. Oh, got a question here. Now you said it says, hi, rounder for life. Is this live? Yes, it is live. Rounder for life. The queen 8, the 10-8, pair plus a gut. Yeah, I can be doing that. Yeah, I like it. Pair plus, pair plus. The ace 8 just has the gut shot. I don't like it. The ace 8, don't like it there. King 7, oh, what an ugly one. King 8. Well, no, King 7 could be doing it. Okay. And then all these better ones with better pairs plus draws and stuff, we're going to keep those ones in my range. Just straight up gut shots. Nah. Well, what are they? How much does it add? 68% of the time. I really don't think I'm double barreling 68% of the time. I don't think I'm double barreling on gut shots. I think I'd rather check behind, see a free river card. Those open enders I can. Gut shots, no. So yeah, we're going to say this is my range right here. 46% of the prior streets. We're looking at 138 combos. Now, what is his range for checking and then calling on the Queen of Diamonds? Excuse me. After his call, we have $9 in the pot, $20 behind. If he hit his nut straight, if he is king jack, this is the perfect time to raise, especially given that, well, the board is so wet for flushes. Or wet for possible flush draws. He'd want to charge me if I have any of those. Why slow play with a nut hand? So when it comes to straights, let's just double check here. Jack 8, it's not the nuts, but, and even 8-7, flop the straight. Yeah, I don't like it. Nope. Let's take those puppies out. Sets are not in his range. 2-pair time. Queen 9, yeah, you know, it's a pretty wet board. He might not be that happy with Queen 10 or Queen 9. Don't know enough about him that he's always raising or just check calling with these types of hands. He could be kind of a passive player in general and only bets and raises turns and rivers with the nuts. So we want to keep the 2 pairs in his range right now. Doesn't have any overpairs. Top pairs. All those random queens that just now hit a pair, they also have backup draws. Yeah, those are check calling. Pocket pair below, pocket, yeah, jacks, yeah, totally. Why not? They're open-ended as well. Let's keep those in the range. Mid pairs. A lot of these are some kind of pair plus a draw, and that stuff is down here, so we'll include it down there. Weak pairs, I don't think just your random crappy 9 or a 6 should be calling. Some of them have gut shots and draws, so we'll keep them down there. Flush draws now, totally check calling on this one. Flopped and turned gut shots. Open enders, they're all open enders, has plenty out. Some of them have overcards like the ace 8 and the king 8. I think they're check calling in this instance. Now, all the gutters. Are the gutters checking and calling here? Well, let's take a look. Right click this. 70. Okay, so no, not these weakest ones. The board just got more ugly. If he just has a gut shot, sure, he's got only 2 outs to a clean gut shot. It has to come a heart or a spade. If a club or a diamond comes out, he's got to be concerned that I might have a flush draw too. So I'm not going to say that he's calling with all these weaker ones. Not even the 9-7, no. Ace 7, that's only a weak gut shot. Ace 7 up here, just a gut shot. King 9 has the overcard plus the jack. King 9. Oh, overcard, pair, gut shot. Okay, King 9 can. King, Queen, Queen, King 10. Okay, I'll accept those ones as the drawing cards that he could be check. The gut shots that he could be check calling here. All right, so we've narrowed him down to 63%, 121 combos. Oh, dag nabbit. Oh no, we're good. I was thinking river. 63%, 121 combos. Alrighty, so now that we have our narrows, our ranges narrowed, you can see that he has plenty of gut shots and open-enders. He has plenty of draws in his calling range. Now this flips the script on the equity because we're saying that I am betting with more so kind of value and just semi-bluffs and then the better draws. So we have 56% equity right now, and he has only 43%. Let's see what the river brings. 10 of diamonds, ugly-ass board. Well, maybe it's ugly, I don't know. Might be good for us, actually, depending on our range. Straight flushes are possible. Full houses are possible. Flushes are possible. Straights are possible. Trip 10s are possible. I mean, there's so much stuff on this board. It's so easy to have a second-best hand now that that 10 of diamonds hit. So let's see what the action is. Oh, first off, the 10 of diamonds gives us 57% equity. 57.43. So things are looking good, but we aren't really far ahead. But I think we are ahead enough that we can be betting for some value, especially with a flush. Flush or better, I think, could be betting for value. He did check to us. We are in position. Maybe even trip 10s can be betting. An ace 10 right here, like, yeah, an ace 10, a king 10. That had a pair plus a gut shot on the turn, and then rivered trips can be betting. So I think trip 10s or better can be betting for value. Any kind of 2-pair, whether it's just like an ace-queen with queens and 10s, I don't think I should be betting for value right here. We're ahead 57% of the time, but it's so close. If we value bet, we got to think about what we're targeting. So let's see what my bet size is. Check. And then, oh, less than half pot now. Wow. So a small flop raise. Barely over half pot on the turn, and then less than half pot right here. Maybe I am, you know, I don't think I have a full house. I think I have a flush, and I'm trying to get the max, as much value as I can, because if I'm betting right here, I need to target a specific hand when I'm betting, right? So if I have a flush, I'm going for value. And I guess I'm targeting just a random queen, king, queen, even queen jack that has a pair and open-ended on the turn. Didn't improve on the river, but might still call. If I have a flush, I could be targeting trip 10s, of course, that just hit right now. I don't think any 9s or 6s are going to call. I think straights are going to call if I have a flush. And if I have trips, I think it's possible that a queen is going to call. And if I have trip 10s, a weaker trip 10s are going to call. Yeah, so I think I could be going for value here. For some thin value, it's possible with a lot of different hands. So I think quads are in my range, especially if I don't think he's calling with much. It's totally possible. Full houses are in my range right here. Because if he's a calling station, if his went to showdown percentage was super low, like let's take a look here. Went to showdown, I don't know, it's 50%, so 1 out of 2, probably. Yeah, 1 out of 2. It's just not enough to know. But if his went to showdown percentage was really low, this would be a good value bet to get called out of a tighter range. If his went to showdown percentage was really high, like, 25, 30%, then I'd like to make a bigger bet because he's calling with a wider range. But this can be just going for value versus a rather nitty range right here. A guy who's not calling that much. So full houses are betting. Flushes are totally betting. Straights, yeah, there's no reason to put them on a runner flush. It's possible. But yeah, I think straights can be betting for value because we can get called by trips and even possibly a good queen, ace, queen, king, queen. Three of a kinds are betting for value. I don't think top pairs are bad. I think I'm probably checking behind on such a wet board with top pair. Yeah, so look at that. I'm narrowing myself down to 47 combos. Really tight range right there. What was it? 37%. Now their river range, of course, he has the opportunity to check raise right here big, especially with a super good hand. I don't think he has any flushes. I think straights are possible. Top pair hands are possible. Even trips are possible. On this scary board, he might just call with, 10-8, 10-jack even, 10-king, all that kind of stuff. So he does not have quads, he'd be raising. He does not have full houses, he'd be raising. It's a nut flush, second nut flush, and a baby 8-6 suited flush. The board is paired. He's not worried about being beat by a straight flush, Jack 8 or Jack King, if he has the ace. I don't think there's any reason for these to really bet and then re-raise, though, with these flushes on the paired board. So I think I could put that in his check calling range. Straights are check calling, three of a kinds check calling, and top pairs. Let's not give him all the top pairs. Queen 8. Queen 9 is even forfeited by the 10s on the board. Let's not give him that. Let's give him a little bit more credit for calling with better value. So he has a jack kicker or a king kicker with his top pairs, is what I'll say here. And then pocket pair, I don't think any of these should be calling. Pocket pair below, just jacks? You know, jacks can call if he thinks I'm bluffing the whole way with ace, king, ace, jack, which is really it that I'd be bluffing with. I guess I could bluff the whole way with pocket 8s or 7s. That started with a gut shot. So maybe he can call with jacks. This one street, and it is kind of a weaker half pot, less than half pot bet. But weak pairs, let's not say. Okay, that's the range I'm going to set. He's down to just 53 combos here. Don't remember what that percentage was. 49%. So as we can see right here, he has, with this range, he's calling with all the weaker stuff. We have a lot of the stronger hands in our range. We have 91% equity at this point versus his calling range. So I think things are looking really good. I think this is a definite value bet right here with all of these three of a kinds or better. And even those random queens that I might have, just top pair hands, which turns into two pair, but basically top pair because there's a pair on the board. I don't think those need to be bet. I think those can be checked behind because a large part of his calling range is stuff that beats top pair hands. Yeah, so I think we're good with this right here. Let's see what it finally ends up being. Ace king. Ooh, lovely. And then he did have pocket. Are you kidding me? Well, hold on a second. That's the weak pairs. Yep, so I removed them at the very end. This player is capable of calling 1/4 pocket pair. Well, if you count the 10s, I guess, Wow. He's able to call versus a small bet on the river with 4th pocket pair. So, tiny donk lead, under pair plus gut shot, small flush draw, blocking bets, out of position. Okay, so I made a note on this before. Yeah. Wow, he's just an unbelieving station versus small bets out of position is what I'm going to say right there. Yowza, I'm folding that in a heartbeat on that river. That river it only helps my opponent's range who's been betting the whole way, betting and raising the whole way. It doesn't help me at all because it doesn't complete my straight, doesn't give me a baby flush, doesn't give me trips, doesn't give me a full house. I'm folding on that one right there. I think. Yep. But I do like my play. If you can see, if we go back through the hand real quick. So, of course, I raise right here. Backdoor flush draw, backdoor straight draw, 2 overs. Things are looking good versus this tiny bet. Most of the time, he's folding with a really wide range right here that he's making a tiny bluff donk lead. He decides to call. Great. Now, we turned, other than an ace or a king, we turned one of the best cards. It added the gut shot to our range. Plus, it added the flush draw. Things are lovely right now. So he checks. And, of course, we bet greater than half pot, trying to give us some fold equity as well as just semi-bluffing. In case he calls, we can still hit something. Shebang, we hit something. It does pair the board, so I guess he could have played a 9-10 this whole way. I did take that out from the start, or I kind of discounted. Didn't feel that he had a 9-10 from the start, but it's possible. And even Queen 10 check calling on that turn, I'm not a big fan of that play. So it does make sense that the 10 doesn't help him unless he plays a slow play, some decent hands on the flop and turn. But yeah, I definitely like that bet right there, and it makes sense. I think if I would have bet more, $4, $5, $6, he's folding those 8s, totally folding those for a bigger bet. So I think at the time I was probably thinking to myself, I have near the nuts because he doesn't have a full house. So what am I going to get value from, and how much can I bet to get value even from a queen? I probably would have never expected to get value from pocket 8s though. Holy cow. Alrighty. Well, Rounder for Life asked a question. Defending ranges when another player could call. Does this generally make us want to defend tighter or looser in general? Does it make a big difference if their cold caller is in position? Let me put this on the screen so viewers can see. Whoa, what happened? Hey, I've been going over defending ranges. When another player cold calls, does this generally make us want to defend tighter or looser in general? What do you mean defend? If somebody's cold calling, they're defending. We're opening. Does it make a big difference if their cold caller is in position or out of position? Thank you. I've been reading your cold calling ranges, but don't think I've found it. Or does Flopzilla keep those in your range with the flush filter? You wouldn't bet the 8 gutter with the flush draw? Oh, okay. Well, so first off, KB, yes, I would bet the 8 gutter with the flush draw. When I was filtering that part, I was just filtering all the flush draws in. And if it's a flush draw with a pair, if it's a flush draw with a gutter, if it's a flush draw with 2 overs, those are included in all the flushes. So KB, yes, they're included. Now, to get back to this one right here, Rounder for Life, you've been asking about defending ranges. Oh, when another player cold calls. Oh, I see. So let me get this straight. So if we think about Frankie, for example, right? Frankie is defending right now. And then let's say Shadow X7 was going to cold call. That's what Rounder for Life is talking about. Yes, I understand now. So when you are defending right here out of the small blind, or if you're calling on the button, if you're calling in the cutoff, wherever you're calling from, you want to think about what the remaining players are going to do, right? So let's say you do have a hand right now like pocket 8s, 9s, 10s, or jacks or something. If you call, we're just saying, Rounder, you are Frankie right here. So you have a hand like pocket 8s right now. So if you call, what do you think his response is going to be? Is he a very aggressive player? Is he going to 3-bet and push you off the pot? If that's possible, then you might want to 3-bet or just fold, or just be willing to call and then fold to a 3-bet. If you think he's just going to call behind, do you want to go 3 ways to the flop with pocket 8s or ace deuce suited or 6-7 offsuit, whatever you're calling with? If you have pocket aces, do you want to just call and then give him the chance to 3-bet, or give him the chance to just call? Now you go into a flop 3 ways out of position with pocket aces. So yes, you want to make cold calling ranges by position. You want to create those ranges. But the thing is, you don't need to stick with them 100%. Actually, I shouldn't say that. You don't want to stick with them 100%. You need to have your cold calling ranges built ahead of time so that mathematically, you know that they're good ranges. You know that you should call with pocket 8s. You should call with jack 9 suited. You should call with pocket deuces or ace 5 suited. Whatever it is, you know you should call here. But before you make the call, consider what the remaining players are going to do. If they're calling with a wide range, you might want to tighten your calling range, or you might want to widen your 3-betting range. But that's something that just comes with, okay. It depends on the type of hand you're calling with. Suited connectors, like 6-7, 5-6, 9-10 suited, oftentimes you want to see the flop multi-way. It gives you more implied odds behind that you can possibly win with those speculative hands. Same thing with your small and mid pocket pairs. You want to hit that set. And then with more players in hand with a set, you have a better chance of making a lot of money. With the over pairs, and then even with the broadways like ace, king, king, queen, aces, kings, queens, you want, in general, less players. Now, those hands are going to win more money, whether it's multi-way or heads up, but it's easier to extract value with those big pairs versus 1 or 2 players as opposed to 3 or 4. Let's say you had pocket aces right now in the MP. Let's say WackyJuan opened right here. You had pocket aces and you just called. You might get 1, 2, 3 callers after you. So you go into a flop 5 ways with really wide ranges from all the players with pocket aces. Now, you can make a lot of money there, it's possible. But as you know, the more players in the hand, the more susceptible your strong hands are to their ranges right there. So that's what you want to be careful, and that's what you want to think about. Think about the players and how they act before you employ your cold calling ranges in whatever position. Cool deal. This is generally just for the big blind defense. I'm asking, I guess. So let's say 8-8 in the big blind. If Frankie cold calls, does this make us tighter or looser? Oh, so for in general, so okay, so Frankie, not Frankie, I'm sorry, Rounder, I apologize. You're saying if we're right here in the big blind with pocket eights, well, it doesn't matter the hand at all. In the big blind, you're generally calling looser, and the reason why is because right here as Frankie, you need 37% equity because the pot is so small. To make a mathematically good call, you need 37% pre-flop equity. Now, once Frankie calls, you, Rounder, are in the big blind. You only need 22% equity, so you can call wider. Now, that doesn't mean that, if pocket eights were in your calling range, great, now I can call 9s, 10s, and jacks. No, those might be hands that you would want to 3-bet with. So you can call more when there's other callers in the pot, but you also want to consider, hey, is this hand a better calling hand or a better 3-betting hand before you actually make that call? Cool beans. Well, thank you very much for those questions, Rounder for Life and KB Cards. I do appreciate it. Wow, we're actually at 42 minutes. That's a rather long hand reading day, but thank you very much for the questions. I appreciate it, guys. Come back later for day 51 of 66 days in a row of hand reading. Peace out.